Board of County Commissioners now in session. Mr. Bryan, come up and say the prayer from St. George Island, sir.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, I'd like to introduce Brian brightly to all of us here. He is the new minister at St. George Island Methodist Church. He comes from Boca Grande. He's got a wonderful background. You will enjoy talking to him. He was in Russia doing the Lord's work, and he has some interesting stories about that. We're glad to have you. Welcome to Franklin County.
Thank you, thank you. Let us pray together. Lord God, we gather together on behalf of constituents whom you love, rich, poor, young, and old, a diverse constituency that puts their trust and decision-making in this commission before you. This commission who seeks the best for the community, setting aside prejudice, power, party, and self. We ask now for wisdom here in this meeting, coupled with compassion, compromise over stalemate for this legislative body. And we praise you for the gifts and the commitments for each commissioner and employee. We ask your blessings and will in the coming elections. May their work be love made visible, as together they nurture and care for the strategic needs of this community. We pray in the name of our Lord, and all the people said, Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
We have the minutes from July the 20th and August the 2nd.
So moved.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. We have the payment of the bills.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Department heads, Mr. Howard Napier, Supervisor of Public Works.
Good morning, Commissioners. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
I ain't got nothing for the board this morning, so.
Anybody got anything for Howard?
I had a question. I know we've had trouble with all the rain.
Yes, sir.
Talk about it a little bit.
Well, yeah, we've had a lot of rain and mainly your dirt roads. And when you get a lot of rain, I mean, and a lot of traffic on that road, it's gonna get messy. I mean, if you put lime rock or black dirt or sand, you know, it's gonna get, nasty. But basically what we do when we get that rain and stuff, we go through it after the rain and we just come back over and fix the roads, so. Yes, sir.
Y'all done a good job.
Thank you, ma'am.
I've got an item, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna bring this up, Michael, so you be ready to talk on it, Michael Moran. I noticed last week and the week before, not so much last week, but the week before, that a company named Echo, who is a contractor for Duke Energy, has been spraying the roadways with something. It smells like diesel, but I think it's Roundup. And then we had 5 days of those heavy rains, and I'm worried about the water going out there with all the chemicals and stuff in it. And Michael Shearer, do we not have an ordinance that the companies like that are supposed to come before the board and ask for approval, or they're supposed to give a sample of what their product is that they're using?
Commissioner, your current ordinance requires them to make sure that the chemical has been approved by the Florida Department of Health. And I don't know if they've gone through that process yet or not, but you do have safety protocols in place so that people are not allowed to just simply spray whatever they want to without restriction. They should be getting permission from the Florida Department of Health and then providing that evidence to the board.
Okay, because I'm concerned with it because they sprayed the whole 98 quarter to the east. They sprayed the whole 98 quarter. They sprayed Jeff Sanders. They sprayed 67 right next to the water bodies. I mean, they're right next to it. And then we had those. I had 15 inches of rain. I don't know what everybody else had. So I'm saying this concerns me. So Michael, what did you do about it when I brought it to your attention?
I called Danny Collins from Duke Energy. He called me back yesterday and sent me an email, and basically he gave me a breakdown of what the herbicide actually is.
Okay.
So whether it's approved by Department of Health, I couldn't answer that question. What I could do is run it by both the Department of Health and our IFAS, our extension office, and see what they say about it, and then bring that back to the board.
Well, I think the ordinance says, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just going from memory, and that's been a long time ago that we made that. It's not supposed to be sprayed within 1,000 feet of the water body, which is the Apalachicola Bay. But with the tributaries going into the bay, that concerns me. And we may have to bump up that ordinance a little bit
Yes.
to deal with that. Because from what I understand, they expect to do this every 3 years.
Yes,
Now,
every
I
3
haven't
years.
saw anything in the western or the middle part of the county, but I have on the eastern part.
They sprayed all the back streets in Carabel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In Carabel and Eden, they've done it. I haven't seen to the west,
I haven't.
so I would say.
Yeah, we got some calls too, thought the county was doing it, and I said, no, it's not the county.
No, no,
So we don't spray.
And they're spraying like 5 feet back in there, you know,
And
so.
there was one incident where, like, I think it affected someone private plants, or it went over. But Duke contacted that homeowner, and they resolved that situation.
Well, I can tell you personally, I ran them off of Jeff Sanders Road. I called Duke Energy and I said, they're not supposed to be spraying like this. Because I went by them and it was heavy. I don't know how that man was spraying because he wasn't even wearing a mask, you know, so, anyway. But we just need to bump that up and get the Department of Health and find out what the herbicide is that they're using or whatever, a pesticide, and then get back with Danny Collins with Duke Energy and say, you know, he needs to read up on our before they start bringing people in like that,
Okay.
okay? And maybe I'll stop them from coming any more to the west right now, okay?
Anybody else got anything for Howard?
Mr. Chairman, I just have one thing. I want to let the board know that this is, we're running Gulf Shore Boulevard. Cobra Roost has finished surveying the easement that comes off of Ball Point. I'm gonna go out there on Wednesday, meet with some of the homeowners there who need access for this new road, and we're gonna see how much effort it is to put in a temporary access pending the resolution of what FEMA is trying to approve for us. But I need to get some access in there because the Gulf Shore Boulevard has washed out in the front, and it's just a waste of county energy to keep putting that back there. So I'm trying to create a minor temporary road for the people, those 7 lots there on the back with county equipment. We got a survey, and I'm gonna go out there and look at it, and just see what we can do for these people.
So what do you want, Alan?
Well, I just want to let the board know that. Howard and I talked, he thinks he can put a temporary road in there without a lot of effort, but I want to walk the route Wednesday morning with some homeowners and just see what we're going to do.
And that's the easement that we got from DEP?
It's the easement we got from DEP
Okay.
across state lane. That's correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Howard. Mr. Fonda Davis, Solid Waste.
Good morning, Commissioners. Solid waste. Everything is running pretty good. We trying to get the new ordinance in place. Having a little bit of problem, but it's moving forward. Nothing that we didn't expect. So that's going pretty good. Animal control is good. And also with Park and Rec, the girls placed 3rd in the World Series. So
You need to get them, Fonda, the next meeting to come over if they can.
okay.
We want to
Good.
especially
Get them,
recognize them.
recognize them, get them a picture of them.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they played Virginia in the first game, and Abby Johnson was the 5-3. She was the winning pitcher, throwing 4 innings of no hit ball. Also going in 2-2 hitting with a triple and 2 RBIs. Leslie Escobar at 2-3 hitting. And the next game they lost against South Carolina. Game 3 they won against North Carolina. And then next game they beat Mississippi. And also they lost the last against North Myrtle Beach. So again, like I said, placed 3rd. That wasn't bad for them.
They done good.
They done real
They
good.
done very good.
Yeah, we look for them to win it all next year. Yeah.
Hopefully.
And I appreciate you boys helping me Friday and Monday.
Okay, I'll let them know, Commissioner. Yeah.
Anybody got anything for Fonda?
No, just want to thank him for the job he did.
Yeah.
All
Good.
right, thank you,
Okay,
Fonda.
thank you all.
Miss Pam Brownell, Emergency Management.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I have 2 action items. The first one is request board approval to advertise for an RFP for debris removal services. I'm asking this, we already have contracts in place, but with the new super circular, I need to sit down with the checklist and make sure that we have everything in that contract that we're supposed to, which I'm pretty much sure there's some things that we don't have, in case I need to re-advertise. That way I don't have to wait till the next board meeting. I can go ahead and start the process.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
The second item is Miss Misty Berryman from CDR McGuire, which is a consultant of the counties that is helping us with our flood mitigation assistant program, is here to give the board sort of an update of where we are on that and how it relates to CRS.
Good morning. My name is Misty Berryman. I'm with an emergency management company called CDR McGuire. We have been contracted by the county to come in and provide assistance with developing their flood mitigation plan. The goal of this plan is to support the local mitigation strategy, but the bigger goal ultimately is to support the NFIP program, which affects the claims for flood-prone areas within the county, for your vulnerable areas. So our goal is to come in and assist the county with reducing the number of vulnerable structures within the county, identifying those vulnerabilities and determining ways that we can mitigate those risks. And by accomplishing that, that assists you in lowering your CRS rating, which affects your premiums for the county. So we're looking to assist the floodplain administrator with providing documentation and proof of the efforts that the county is making to try to mitigate those vulnerabilities. So this is a very extensive planning process, and we've had a number of meetings. We are getting to a point where we are getting ready to disseminate the draft plan, and there will be a very extensive stakeholder list of stakeholders that will be involved in the review of this plan, including the board. And this will also be a public effort. They will also have the opportunity to review the plan. And we will be presenting the final plan to you before it goes to the state for review. So if there are any questions, if there's any input into the plan that you want to include, then that will be part of that process.
Anybody got any questions?
Let me just say, I don't know if you're aware that Amy Kelly in our office next door is a certified floodplain.
Yes, we've had a number of discussions. Yes, thank you. Anything else?
We're gonna be with Mark after this meeting, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody got anything for Pam? Thank you, Pam.
Thanks.
Eric Lovestrand?
Eric is attending a conference. So, but you have your report, his report is in front of you, in case you have any questions.
All right. DeWitt, you have something this morning, bud?
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Yeah, I do have an issue. Have an employee that's had some recent medical issues, and it looks like he's going to be out for a month and a half. And with all the rain situations, all the threats out there, I need some temporary help. I had talked with Mr. Davis, and we was talking about maybe borrowing an employee from them, and we discussed that, and I discussed a little bit with Aaron, and just wanted to run that by the board and maybe get approval on that.
I don't have no problem. I'll make a motion to give you the authority to work with Mr. Davis to use one of his people until Scott gets back.
I have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And
I've got another thing to ask you to be with, because we've got a lot of people here. I was privileged to a presentation done by the Department of Health last week on the Zika virus. And what steps is the county taking to try to help out with that? Really, there's not that much we can do because it's a type of Egyptide something.
yeah, it's Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus.
Yeah.
What we've been doing, we've been working with the Department of Agriculture, and they loaned us some traps, BG traps, that traps those specific mosquitoes. We run other traps in the county that, get our counts and stuff, but these catch the Aedes aegypti and albopictus. And we have caught some of the albopictus. I've sent about 8 different pools off so far to the Bronson lab in Kissimmee and had them tested. They tested for chikungunya, the dengue, and the Zika virus. So far, everything's come back negative. We do have the mosquitoes. Again, I would, would just, forward to the public to please clean up, anything artificial containers. All the rain, everything's catching water, and that's where these mosquitoes breed. And they they call them backyard mosquitoes for a reason. And very labor intensive if we have to go in there and do an inspection and try to turn everything out over in people's homes, behind their homes. And people really need to clean up. I mean, would help us tremendously.
We have that type of mosquito, you said?
We do have the Alopecia. I have it called in Aedes aegypti, but they're kind of like sister mosquitoes. They both breed in the containers, and both of them carry the virus.
When you get to spraying, when you go out towards Dacky Wards, can you go get them to make a round up through there and spray so they're so thick in there you can't hardly breathe?
Yes. Mhm.
Well, and from what I understand from the Department of Health, it's not the mosquitoes that lives in the ponds and the big, large cavities of water. It's the ones that can breed inside the bottle cap.
That's right. That's correct.
Oyster shells.
Yep.
A magnolia leaf.
Mhm.
It's those kinds.
And I've had to explain that numerous times. Had a lady that had called and complained about mosquitoes, and I was in there, so I swung by and done an inspection. Me and her got out there. Within 2 minutes, I spotted about 15 different things just walking around showing her. And but that's, it's hard to do that to every homeowner. I've continued to run the ads on Oyster Radio. We're running 4 ads a day, been running them all summer. But, to get the word out there for people to please clean up tires, tarps, old boats, anything that'll hold water, artificial containers, that's where we're going to have the problem. Like I said, Commissioner, the mosquitoes raising in the ditches, the marshes, stuff like that, they don't carry the virus. They're very annoying, but they don't carry the virus.
What the closest they got to Franklin County?
They've had a case in Leon County, and I think 2 or 3 cases in Bay County, but they're all imported, nothing locally transmitted.
Mr. Chairman, I had a question
Yes, sir.
too. I know we had a drought for the first part of July, then rain. What sort of extra work are you doing to spray? Because I'm getting a lot of calls on that.
Well, what we've done, we pre-treated a lot of areas with larviciding. We have some tablets that we put out in ditches and stuff that we know that's normally a problem. And we pre-treated those areas. Some of the places, the wetlands, people call about the wetlands in the state. There's nothing we can do about that. But we have, picked up the spraying activity, and that's one reason I need the temporary help. I've got 2 part-time guys, had myself and Scott. And then Scott would go during the week and help the part-time guys, some of the bigger zones where it takes 2 trucks to cover it. I mean, you just can't cover it with 1 truck anymore. And that's why I can't do what I have to do in the daytime and then work at night and be back in the next morning. It's just really miss Scott. I mean, you don't know how much you appreciate somebody until they're gone. And he's done a lot of work. He actually done all my trap work and inspections and helping with the larvicide during the day, and then sometimes he filled in during the night. But now I had some people that thought like they would be willing to volunteer and help me with the trapping, which would be, a great help too.
If you spray at night, or if you need somebody, I can drive a spray truck. I mean, if you need it one night, just call me.
If it gets real bad, we might have to do that.
I can drive it.
Mhm. Good.
Thanks.
I do need to get this signed, Commissioner. It's an amendment.
DeWitt, is this for the temporary employee? Is this authorization for the temporary employee or something different? What is it?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
What is that?
This is just a budget amendment. I have to move some money around in my
So you need to at least make some kind of a record about what they're moving around so the board knows what they're approving.
Yeah, we just had to move some money around from personal services. I took some from repair maintenance and some from my gas. It was overrunning one particular thing for
In the
overtime.
amount of how much? In the amount of how much?
About 5,000.
Okay.
Anybody got anything for DeWitt?
Thank you,
Thank you,
DeWitt, for
DeWitt.
that.
Thank y'all.
Miss Ann Birchwell, Carabel, Franklin County Library.
Morning, Commissioners. A representative from the Veteran Center out of Tallahassee will be coming to the East Point branch every fourth Monday of the month. Among the services offered to vets, including counseling for groups and workshops, individual family counseling, bereavement counseling, outreach and education, and assistance with PTSD. The next visit will be Monday, August 22nd, from 10:30 to 2:30. On August 24th, Les Harrison from the Wakulla Extension Agency will be facilitating a workshop for fall garden preparation. Those interested should attend at 1:30 p.m. at the East Point branch. For children, on Saturday, August the 20th, there will be a pirate school for kids at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Carolyn and Jeff Alardi will be reading pirate stories. On Saturday, August 27th, we will have Mark the Magician for children ages 2 to 7. All events are free, and I will be continuing to hold the Mommy and Me story time at the library, and Assistant Ron Rickerson will be running our science, technology, engineering, art, and math group for students ages 8 to 12 every Thursday at the East Point branch. And that's the end of my report.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, ma'am.
If I can. Miss Ann, let me ask you something. On the Veterans Center, are they working with our Veterans Affairs Director here in Franklin County?
Yes, ma'am, I believe
Okay.
so.
Mr. Charles Elliott?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask you that. And another thing, why did we not have a report from Carabel Branch Library?
The branch manager is supposed to submit them to me, and she knows the specific date and time, and I did not receive anything.
Okay, I would like to be seeing a Carabel Branch report. Also, the programs that we're doing over there also, as much as what you got in here that you're doing in East Point.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
See, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, yes, sir.
you do run the library system, right? Is that
Yes, sir,
your
I
job?
do. Mhm.
Okay. I agree with Commissioner Sanders. You're the one at the top of the ladder.
That's correct.
We expect,
And I do report on things that we both run tandemly, but I do, she did get a reminder that she's supposed to send me the report on a specific Wednesday before the meeting, which is what I do, and I did not get anything, so,
but she works for you.
yes, sir, she does.
Okay, well, I think she should be submitting his report.
Yes,
And
sir.
we're looking to you to have this report.
That's
So
true.
I think you should relay that.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if she doesn't do a report, maybe you need to do it, since you are the
Oh, I do.
manager.
I will put things, and I will submit them to you, saying that they're happening at both branches.
You do go over there and see what you do monitor the programs and stuff that they do over there, though, right?
As often as I am able to,
Okay.
yes.
I mean, you'll have enough information to do a report from Carabel. I don't like not having a library, not having a report, because I like to see what the kids and the adults are doing. We do some good services over there in Carabel also. So I would appreciate it if you submit a report next time.
I'll relay
Carabel.
that.
Anybody got anything for Miss Ann? Thank you, Miss Ann. Mr. Kurt Blair, TDC update.
While Kurt is coming up, Mr. Chairman, let me just say a few words. At a couple of board meetings ago, some of the members were concerned about how many visitors do we have in the county, how do we keep track of it and everything. In your package, you will see that Kurt has included that. I brought it up at the TDC meeting last Wednesday, and he has included that to where y'all can see how many visitors we're actually seeing and how they're communicating, whether it's by web stats or the media outlets or whatever. So I just want to make that comment.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, I think that's a great addition to the report. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Commissioner Sanders. Good morning, gentlemen, and Commissioner Sanders, Michael, Marcia. Well, I'll pick up on that discussion first then. Yes, you have a report that we have for the visitor centers, and we just started after we set up the visitor center in East Point to bring together those numbers on a regular basis. And now we've gotten to the point where all the visitor centers are reporting at the beginning of the month, and I'll be able to give you an update. And then I've consolidated them in a countywide report. So you can kind of see how at least the visitors that are going to the centers change every month. You know, you can sort of get into the pattern of what they're doing. But you'll see that, we have the largest attendance is at Apalachicola, which is understandable. And they do oftentimes as many as 1,500 visitors a month. We're beginning to be able to track these from year to year, so we'll be able to see the fluctuations. And I'm I'm hopeful that we're going to see a correlation between the people that come to the visitor centers and what we see in the collection reports, so that we have further verification of the accuracy. Unfortunately, without collecting the tax locally, which we've decided from time to time not to do, there's no real way to get a handle on the exact number of people that are visiting. We've got estimates, we have suggestions made by and information provided by the providers, but when it comes right down to it, since DOR, Department of Revenue, actually collects the tax for us, they don't release that information. I was on the phone a couple times last week with the general counsel in hopes that we could come to some understanding and agreement about it. So we're trying to define other milestones that we can use that'll give us a picture, if not the absolute number of people that are coming into the county every year. So, and the visitor center statistics are part of that. So, you also received the collections report, and this is a great example of the fluctuations that occur in collections from month to month and year to year. This one was down some from last year. We think that that's probably has more to do with schedules of schools and spring break. And if you go back and look at going back as far as 2008, every other year May was down, and then the subsequent year, because of change in schedules, it was up substantially. So it's evening out. We are getting reports from the lodging companies that June and July have been excellent months, and I expect you'll see this.
Which one's your best month?
June and July are still the peak months.
It's
Yeah.
still good through the winter months too, ain't it?
Yes, they are, Commissioner, and thank you for asking. We've seen, especially in February and March, which used to be sort of tepid, what we call shoulder months. They were not the lowest months, but they weren't as, the revenue wasn't as high as in the summer. When we first started, we were seeing collections at somewhere around $50,000, a month. That's up to $100,000 now, and that shows a real maturing, if you will, of the tourist market in February and March that has just been coming along during the years. So we're seeing that some of those months that we had vacancies, or a lot of vacancies, are beginning to fill up, and we think it's an encouraging sign.
Mr. Chairman, I had a question too.
Yes, sir.
Are these raw numbers of people that just come through the door, or is there any effort made to capture information if they're staying here or passing through?
Well, they're both. They are raw numbers. They're people that come in the door. And we have started working with the visitor centers to have, more and more we're increasing the similarity of the information at the visitor centers. And we have an opportunity in each of the visitor centers for the visitors to sign up for a getaway, a raffle, anything we can think of to get their email addresses, because that's the dependable base that we keep marketing to. Now that varies. We know pretty well how many visitors are coming to each visitor center. And once again, in the case of Apalachicola, they tend to have times when the place is full, You know, they've got people, you know, real busy days, they'll have, you know, 15, 20, 30 people in there at a given time or coming and going. So it's a little difficult to capture all of those. And so we're now working on some computerized ways to do that so that the staff that's there, if they don't get to them all, they'll still have a way of, we'll still have a way of capturing them. But that is the key focus. Our major objective is get names in our database so that we can continue marketing them.